Okay, response video to James Yeager's Bugout trailer and looking for recommendations. Tremendous number of comments in that video, a lot of people offering opinions. I'm going to offer some opinions based on experience. I would add an electrical system to the trailer of some sort, and that can go in stages. First stage is a 12-volt battery mounted someplace. I have one down here. The original owner of this trailer had batteries in a battery box out on the tongue. Valid way to do it. But I wanted to bring the battery inside and have a very short cable run to the inverter. The batteries seem to work, everything with the inverter seems to work better when I have a shorter cable run. I would add a 12-volt battery system. Next thing to add would be an inverter. Now, with just a 12-volt battery and an inverter, you can recharge your trailer with a 12-volt charger plugged into a building. You can recharge your battery by running the vehicle or generator. What I've done with mine is I have solar panels on the roof. So what you'll see up here, this would be a good starter solar panel. This alone would probably run your rig probably okay for your purposes. For my purposes, I need to be able to run power tools. I can run this table saw and some others. I have demonstration videos off of this 400-watt system. Now this folds down. I do my own welding. So you know, you make enough money, you could probably have a custom shop fabricate this for you. Me, I had to build it all myself. So this system, I slide it back a little bit, I get up on a ladder, I fold it down, and that's how I'm mobile. Once that's folded, I don't really lose my solar panel, I just might lose a little bit of efficiency, that's all. So this system can work either in an upright or angled position or folded, and there's some adjustability to it. The lighting inside, I upgraded to LED strips. I'd recommend that on yours. You want enough lighting, you can actually function inside in the dark. This thing's really good. The other thing is LED lighting is more light for the amount of power that you have. The Xantrex charge controllers I don't like, but they are heavy duty. I've got various 12-volt stuff here. It's exposed, it's a little bit teenager looking, because I'm testing a lot of equipment and I need to be able to test it with different types of connectors as I work with stuff. You'll see chargers for several different types of cordless tools that they're set up to run off 12 volts. So I can run DeWalt and Ryobi power tools here, and I can run a lot of regular stuff. I can run almost everything except a regular worm drive circular saw. I can run table saw. It does work with that. So tools and tool benches, your situation would be probably a little more tactical. My thing is to maintain economic viability for and with my people on a evacuation situation. And I don't necessarily call it a bug out situation, I call it an orderly evacuation situation. If we evacuate to a new location, I am able to take a non-premium location and turn it into good livable space on fairly short notice, because we're not going to be hacking branches with survival tools to make shelters. I can build regular stuff, and for that purpose I'll keep cases of nails for the Pazload nail gun. It's and the special fuel cartridges for that, and of course conventional hammers. If for some reason we really have problems with the nail guns, I can pop these nails off of the strips and just use them with a hammer. I also have smaller sizes, screws, fasteners, plan on buying more of those. A lot of cordless power tools. I have one of these South African tactical vests that's going to be modified to be a tool vest. A lot of people, I don't know, I guess a lot of you guys back east are thinking engineer resources for survival retreats and all that. But West Coast area, I'm one of the engineer resource guys. So that's how I am set up. Is basically to be able to go in and be an engineer resource and get stuff built, fixed, modified, whatever we want to talk about on a construction side, building side, repair side. I'm set up for I can do a lot of basic vehicle maintenance with tools that are here. I'm not going for super high-end stuff, I'm going for complete kits. So a lot of it's Harbor Freight. But we can do a lot of vehicle maintenance. Got the OBD2 reader, it's all mobile. It's all something I can work with in a convoy with somebody. So we've got a convoy mechanic capability on an orderly evacuation, not okay, we're going to rush and bug out. This is the orderly evacuation. If we got to run a cross-country convoy, the convoy can have its own maintenance facility going with it. We've got workbenches here. I would probably make some last-minute decisions on what to bring and what to leave. I can configure the inside on your trailer. You know, it looks decent, but it's you know, you cannot change your configuration if everything's permanently attached. So what a previous owner did here was he had added a little bit of extra paneling because he was using this as kind of a camper toy hauler. He had added the window, he had added the skylight, he had added windows on the doors, which is kind of cool. And then everything got finished in polyurethane so that it wouldn't mildew. We're in Oregon, and we can get mildew in the wood. So everything got polyurethane to make it very water tolerant and water resistant, and then it's washable. Now, the other thing about having a polyurethane surface, you know, we're not talking high levels of finish, but, you know, made it decent, is that you can use sticky stuff. So here, I put Velcro on the wall, so a lot of this stuff, a lot of small devices, I'll just put a Velcro pad on there. Cell phones, two-way radios, all that stuff, I put Velcro on it. A small inverter when I don't want to run the main system. I have a really small inverter here that can use to charge up some of the items that I don't have a 12-volt plug for. And again, I'm using a few different styles of 12-volt plug. This has actually been configured to run 12-volt because cigarette lighter plugs have amperage limitations and longevity limitations when you're using them a lot. So this has all been modified to run 12-volt. But I would say don't go with built-in cabinetry, except maybe at the very front where you've already got to deal with the curvature of all that stuff and not much would go up there. And if you have cabinets with corners toward the front and they go ramming into that, they can bash out the front of your trailer, which is part of what happened here once to a previous owner. So all the cabinetry, all that stuff goes on wheels, and then for travel purposes, it secures to the wall here. I'm using these handles here. I have some straps I can secure them to the wall. We're not equipped with a bed here. I drive a van, so if I need to unroll a sleeping bag in the van, I can. I know it was, one of your videos you had that pickup truck with a camper shell, you can unroll a sleeping bag there. I don't think the bunks are really all that necessary. The other thing, I noticed you had some hooks that were kind of like a rigid hook that were sticking out of the sides. That can snag people walking through, can also damage equipment. If you have other equipment you're trying to move through there with, you're trying to pull maybe a motorcycle through there or bicycles, it can those hooks can damage it. So what I would recommend is, at the very least, is some of these that are mounted from the ceiling, and bag a lot of your gear and just hang it. Okay, bag a lot of stuff and hang it. It's pretty tolerant to moving around. It's not bad. Okay, a lot of this stuff can swing. If you bump, somebody is walking through and they bump into it, it's movable. Another good way to do this is to have a hook that's just on a single link of chain. Okay, just a single link of chain with a single mounting thing, and it's just a hook on a single link of chain, and that will give you your full swivel. Okay. And so with your ammo cans and all that stuff, you know, you already have access in the gear industry. I would think of repackaging your ammo to save weight, using some of those bags. Okay, and again, with the tote bin containers, they're kind of nice. Clear tote bin containers get brittle after not much time, so I would go with your bags. Now again, a lot of these bags come from thrift stores. Others came with tools, like this. The DeWalt bag came with a tool, Craftsman bag came with a tool, and then I got some leftover military gear, or gear that I bought while I was in the military. So I would bag a lot of that stuff, because again, if it gets knocked around and pushed around, or maybe you go over some hard bumps and it falls around, it's not that big of a deal. It's padded. You can hang bags. Boxes and ammo cans, you know, it's just not as desirable as bags. Now, for a lot of the power tools up here, these are those boxes that are kind of secure on the inside. So I'm not changing this over to bags because of the nature of what's in them. It's stuff that just doesn't bag well. And when you look at nail guns, they got to go in a fitted box. It's just the way it is with those things. So I would bag a lot of your stuff, not the tote bin containers, but then once it's bagged, there's a limit to how high you can stack bags, right? So you go with, you know, wooden foot lockers, plastic lockers, something a little heavier duty than those clear tote bins. And if you've got to go in a hurry, you just throw your bags in your trailer and abandon that stuff, okay? But think bags, think about the large Black Hawk duffel bag. I have one of those with a lot of living clothes and stuff like that. I could throw it in here. You also want to think about limiting how high you stack stuff. Now I've got stuff bagged here, but I generally, when this thing's rigged for travel, I've built all these cabinets so that they have the same height. So if I slide these together, and there's a couple more that aren't here that go in the center walkway. If I slide all these together, I have a flat surface. That doesn't mean it's a surface that gets stacked to the ceiling. That's really where I want my center of gravity to end. And if I have something up here, it's just not much. This stuff is set up here because I'm using it, but if I rig for travel, that all comes off. It goes inside the cabinets or in between the cabinets, and that's how I roll. You want to keep the center of gravity not top heavy on a trailer. The other thing is I'm trying to compensate for that roof rack. Exterior modifications, roof rack, definitely. This one obviously spends most of its time holding up the solar panel, but the whole solar array there is removable. Everything you see blue is actually just held in by bungees and its own weight. So that's all removable. It's a two-man job to remove it. A lot of tie-down points all over the place. You got to have these tie-down points for securing the stuff that's on wheels, or I can hang stuff from it, but a lot of tie-down points. More is merrier when it comes to tie-down points. You could even put them in the floor. I would recommend that. Exterior, it depends on whether or not you have this fender arrangement or the fenders on the inside. If you have this fender arrangement, then you can add whatever you want to the exterior of the trailer as long as it doesn't extend much beyond the fender. So here, what I've done is I've done a build-on that's all attached to the frame. It's all steel, it's welded, so it's a lot stronger than it looks. I'm using square tube steel, not angle iron. Angle iron does not have a very good weight to strength ratio. I added a fold down aluminum shade here. It's framed, it's riveted. I got a piano hinge holding that. It can take a lot of punishment, and it gives me some protection on the glass. Custom roof rack up here has a flat section that goes front to rear. Right now it's holding some extra steel stock. I can also put a ladder up there, a full-length ladder, so I have a ladder available for stuff. The very front is relatively conventional, but I beefed it up so that I can walk around up there if I have to, or somebody could put a board up there and then put a couple of lawn chairs and watch a race or something like that. Here's some damage from an accident previous owner had gotten into. The vehicle had somehow come unhitched. It crashed into some stuff, and some stuff that he had on the inside crashed forward and dented this outward. That's why there's a cabinet in the front that blocks all that off. These trailers come waterproof. Somebody in the video comment section was talking about, you know, siliconing it. They're supposed to be waterproof when you buy them. A tongue box for storage is great. It also helps balance out your weight a little bit better. I've only got a single fuel can here, and I'm going to talk about the fuel in a minute here. I will be adding something to this side. I'm not quite sure what. Some kind of external storage probably, and but that's the rig. It's about the same size as your trailer. Any questions, comments, you know, free to talk. It's been a 14-minute video, but I want to talk a little bit about your fuel storage and transport situation on Bugout in a separate video.